It's daybreak here on Arise News, and it's time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages just as they arrive. Let's take a look at our sister publication This Day. Its leading story says bury zoning and bury Nigeria. South/Middle Belt leaders warn. They say declare another 8 years of Northern presidency is unacceptable. Leading photo here on the front of This Day with the caption, "Is he the one?" That shows the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, President Muhammadu Buhari, and the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele yesterday during the Salah homage to the presidential villa. And just above, Buhari rescuing kidnapped train passengers delicate, requires wisdom. Some writers assures families victims will safely return and says terrorists are using captives as human shields, making their rescue difficult. That's on page 11. Above the nameplate of This Day newspaper, PDP moves neck to Monday over zoning of presidential ticket.
Let's look at what the Tribune paper is saying this morning on its front pages. It says, Clark Adebanjo Obiozo to NEF, that is Northern Elders Forum, dumping zoning will kill bury Nigeria. It has about 2 riders. God will show the way, Lawan, on purported presidential ambition. I'll hand over to anyone Nigerians elect. That's coming from Buhari. You can find this story on page 2. And just at the top mast there, World Press Freedom Day. Media freedom under attack in Nigeria, says editors. They want the federal government to make newsprints, broadcast equipment, consumables tax-free. And then you're seeing Amaju Pinnick. FIFA fines Nigeria 63.9 million naira for fans' misconduct after Ghana match. You can find both stories, the one on Press Freedom on page 8, and then of course the one on the sports on the back page.
Punch newspaper. Let's take a look at the leading photos here. It says tears as copper 9 tenants die in Lagos building collapse. That's in Ebute Meta, and Buhari laments on pages 4 and 5. Above that, presidency APC may failed Northern candidates awaits PDP primaries. Some riders presidential tickets, God will show us the way, says Lawan. Blame PDP if North retains power, says APC chieftain. Nigerians suffering deserve new leadership, PDP spokesperson. Above the nameplate of the Punch this morning, National Assembly workers reject staggering arrears payment, issue strike notice.
All right, let's look at the Nation. The Nation newspaper, if they have the Nation. All right, terrorists use captives as shields, human shield rather, says Buhari with 2 riders. Service chief should locate, eliminate criminals. That's a marching order from the president. IG deploys surveillance choppers. And then just below that headline there, campaign for APC PDP presidential ticket hot up. Governors are beautiful brides. Then if we look at that picture by the left of it, let peace reign. Sultan urges politicians, 8 prayers hold nationwide. We'll leave it at that on the Nation.
International papers, we begin with Financial Times. It says Apple hit by EU antitrust charge over mobile payment dominance. And just below that, phone of Spanish PM Sanchez hacked in first use of Pegasus, unserving leader. And just above there you have Maripol exits as EU strives for Russia oil ban.
Well, it looks like Tories are shooting themselves in the leg. The I paper, if we have it, the I paper. All right, Tories hit by infighting on eve of election. It had so many riders there. I can begin to call out all of them.
And for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello, who joins us from our offsite studio this morning. Emmanuel, good morning. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us. Let's take a look at This Day newspaper. So much to talk about, but I want to begin with the leading photo there of the president the Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, and CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. This day really bringing out the humor this morning with that caption, "Is he the one?" Yemi Osibanjo has declared, and there's been rumors about the CBN governor wanting to throw in the hat for the presidential tickets. What are your thoughts on this photo this morning?
You know, they say a picture speaks louder than 1,000 words. And so, yes, and this day, uniquely playing on this picture, and like you're saying, bringing out the humor in a very serious situation in the country right now, the crisis of zoning, who becomes the next president. In another 30 days, some parties will be having their presidential primaries, and even now, the crisis of zoning is still, is such a huge problem. So, to make some light-hearted jokes about it, it's also in place because it's a turning situation, and a whole lot of people wondering what's going to happen. Of course, Emefiele has been in the news. It's not declared yet, but Osibanjo is declared for the presidency, and you have these two people here. And remember that the president himself said that, look, he has somebody in this race, and that he's not ready to reveal the name of the person yet, and that if he does that, the person will be attacked, or there will be violence around the person. So to have this caption, with Osibanjo practically pointing at Emefiele, could be other things that they were talking about, but we say he's asking if he's the one, and so it's lighthearted. But waking up this morning to eat with the Salah. Festivity still in the air makes it's a good one. Yes, but of course the deep questions are there, even as captured in some of the stories I'm sure we're looking at in the newspaper today.
All right. Well, a writer said that the tongue is a small member that can cause loads and loads of conflict. I am wondering, Emmanuel, shouldn't our leaders gauge the things they say with their mouths? I mean, I'm talking about bury zoning, bury Nigeria's South/Middle Belt leaders warn. What do you make of that statement in the light of what I've just said, Bello? Shouldn't our leaders caution themselves in the way they speak?
Yes, Well, yes, they should bridle their tongue, but then they're also reacting to another person who didn't bridle his tongue too. Ango Abdullahi, who made that kind of statement, who said, look, he was alleged to have said that he doesn't believe in the zoning, and that zoning is dead. So this is a statement credited to him. It's also another, unbridled talking. Remember, Ango was in the news just recently for saying that there's a consensus candidate. It came under a serious attack. Everybody is saying that, disowning him practically. Even the NEF, the body he represents, say that, look, there's nothing like that. There's not like, and then for him to come out, Ango has always, caught this image of a controversial figure from his days as vice chancellor of the university till now. He's always in the news for saying that. It sounds like, somebody who is very patriotic, talks about the North, But a lot of people now saying that, look, the North cannot hold on to power anymore. It doesn't make any sense that a Northerner was there for 8 years. And then you are beginning to hear suggestions in some places that the North wants to hold on to power. It's almost like the third term crisis that Nigeria was faced with during the Obasanjo era. The talk now is that the North does not think that power should shift. And so many things indicating that the North want to keep the power. And so, southern leaders, even middle belt leaders who, geographically seem to be in the northern part of the country, are now slamming that whole idea that, look, zoning has always been part and parcel of what a multicultural, dimensional country like us use as a system. With some of them even saying that the emergence of Adamu Abdullahi, for instance, is the chairman of the APC, is actually a tribute to zoning. So why do you use zoning to emerge as national chairman of a party, and then you jettison it? So it's like the North is really determined from all indication. The fact that some of them are contemplating running. Shehu Sani said yesterday in a tweet that, look, if it's true that the Senate president is also thinking of running, it means that APC is thrown its zoning system open, and that and this also for many suggests that the fact that you see northerners, really top northerners, really coming out and wanting to run suggests that maybe there is some form of understanding that the North does not want to relinquish power to the South. So leaders came so strongly on it yesterday, and I'm sure there's going to be more talk around this issue. People talking about zoning. But then don't forget that there are people too in this country who think that zoning in the past has not always helped, and that you need competent people now. It's an argument too that against those who are favoring zoning say it's neither here nor there. The Pande, for instance, or the Middle Belt Forum, saying that the idea that you are looking at just merit does not make sense, because you can find merit everywhere in the country, and that it's not just one zone of the country that's got merit. But there are people who say zoning takes away from democracy, takes away from merit, takes away from getting the right person. You just talk about zoning. But then those who are pro-zoning say that, look, you can find merit, competence, and suitable candidates everywhere. So it's a back and forth thing. Parties are actually grappling with it now. The PDP is going to meet next week to look at that issue. The APC seem to be not to be a bit confused about it, with Abdullahi Adamu saying that, look, there's no decision yet about the zoning. But in the long run, this zoning is going to be about the parties. The parties will have to determine where they're going to zone the presidency. So many issues, with some even saying that the APC is clearly watching to see what the PDP will do first before it takes its own decision.
What the Punch is reporting. And as that's going on, the Punch also captures the tragedy that happened in Lagos, in Ebutemeta. Another building collapse that killed 10 people and injured 20 others, and as usual, the president is lamenting. This building collapse in Lagos especially it's been recurring. We've spoken about it multiple times here, Emmanuel. What is the issue? It seems like there's a root compromise in the people that are in charge of development control in that state in particular.
You know, we like you said, we've spoken about this again and again here. So when I saw this story yesterday, I was like, another building, another story. I mean, because you will think that, okay, fine, after the series of building collapse, that Lagos state government will have to do something about it again. But you're right, Nkechi, that's this part of the crisis of this. Beyond the engineering or structural issues that even the engineers came together the other day and said, look, part of the crisis is also substandard goods and building material, and even the defects in the structures of all these buildings and all of that. They identify the problem. Now, it's not enough to just identify the problem. What happened? In the last building collapse that we had, we've not heard of any head rolling in high places. So this is the thing. Unless and until we begin to have some punitive measures in place, we begin to punish people, we begin to get heads to roll for some of these things. We're going to have situations like this because someone somewhere is cutting corners. Someone somewhere is giving permissions where they're not supposed to give permissions. Someone somewhere is actually, doing something that is not right. And they see these buildings coming up, they see them rising. You will think that the Lagos state government is supposed to show some leadership, not just doing the head count of those who die, but taking proactive measures to, put punishments in place, and of course, do a lot of supervision work, that the serious work or supervision that needs to be done around these structures, around the issue of building and buildings around those places. So these are the serious, work that leadership. Of course, accidents can happen, but then you also have a situation where the failure to do better, proper monitoring, proper supervision, keeping people on their toes to ensure that the right thing is done, officials who are corrupt being rooted out. If you don't do that, you're going to continue. We're probably going to have another building collapse, and it's a very sad situation ahead of us again.
Oh, such a pity we couldn't look at blame PDP if not retains power. That is coming from APC chieftain to PDP, and this talk about press freedom. Thank you. Anyway, Emmanuel Bello on the press.